welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be giving you guys a post-show update, basically give you guys a little update on where I'm at right now after competing in my first ever bikini competition and winning transformation category. Guys, can I get a whoop whoop? Oh, I should have got my trophy over there. Do you know what, we're going to get the trophy down. We're going to get the trophy because it's about the show, so we're going to get the trophy. Hold on. Here we go, guys. It's my trophy. Just to prove to you guys, you know, it's a show video. I haven't actually spoken about show that much recently. So we're going to have the medal and the trophy out. We'll put the trophy here. First place amateur female transformation pure elite UK Championships 2022, baby. So yeah, I'm going to be just giving you guys a quick little update on where I'm at now post show, what are my future plans and that. I have had quite a few like DMs and comments and stuff just asking me questions here and there about like post show and stuff, and I just kind of thought it would be a good idea to just ask you guys. I asked you guys in the community tab and on Instagram to ask me your post show questions and just get it all put into a nice little compact video. So yeah, that's what today's video is. I've got myself a lovely cup of coffee here, so grab yourself a beverage, a Vimto, a coffee, a Pepsi Max, whatever, a water, whatever you want, and let's just have a little chat because this chat is for winner winners chicken dinners, mate. I'm so sad. If you enjoyed this video, find it helpful or entertaining, informative, whatever, just make sure you leave a like, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing and click the bell button. And if this is the first video of mine that you've seen and you don't know who I am and you're just like, you happen to stumble upon this video, hello, my name is Louise. I used to be morbidly obese and I was 269 pounds in January 2020. I went on a weight loss journey. I lost 120 pounds and then I maintained that for a year. Then I decided, you know what, I am going to compete in my first ever bikini competition, and I competed in the bikini category and the transformation category, and I ended up going on to win, as you can see, my transformation category, and I competed in April, and so now I'm post-show. How many weeks post-show? Nearly 17 weeks post-show, so I'm nearly 17 weeks post-show, so yeah, and I shared the whole journey on YouTube, so if that's something you're interested in, then yeah, subscribe and click that bell button because I will make content every week for you guys. I hope it's not rude to ask because you look amazing now. Well, thank you. How much weight did you put on after the show until now, and how much muscle did you gain after the show, and how much fat did you gain after the show? And then there's more question, but I'll answer that part of the question first. I was 133 pounds, and then as of today, basically, I'm 156 pounds. So I'm up officially 23 pounds, but I am like at the high, today I am like at the higher end. I'm normally like 154 to 156. So I would say I gained like 20 pounds basically. So I'm up 20 pounds from show day, which I don't think is bad. I don't know. I don't know what other people gain or whatever, but I feel good and healthy in myself. So that's how much I like the difference in the weight, how much weight I've gained. I did lose basically 20 pounds. So I'm basically at my pre-show weight, like at the end, yeah, before I did my prep, I'm at my pre-prep weight, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think I'm a little bit heavier. I can't remember now. I definitely feel like my body composition looks a lot different to now to what it was before I did my prep. I feel like I've gained a lot more muscle after the show. How much fat and how much muscle, I don't know. I was 15% body fat on show day. And if I was to guess my body fat now, I'm going to guess around 25%. So I've gone up by probably 10% body fat. How much that is in pounds, I don't know. But I definitely have gained muscle. And there's no really way to tell how much muscle you're gaining and how much fat. Like, you could just look in the mirror and tell. I know I've definitely gained. I feel like the first at least 10 pounds of weight gain is a lot, like will go a lot to like replenishing the muscles and glycogen stores. Just water basically, like I'm eating a lot more carbs, a lot more food, I'm drinking a lot more, so like my body weight is going to go up anyway. And then maybe I would say 6 pounds of fat and then a couple of pounds of muscle. I don't know, maybe I'm being like too what's the word, maybe I'm dreaming too much basically. I don't know what the bloody word is, it's annoying me. Optimistic, that's the word. Maybe I'm being too optimistic. Is your weight stabilized now? I hope so. I hope so. I'm happy to stay at this weight. This is like the highest, like I said, this is the highest I've been since I lost weight, if that makes sense. But I'm feeling really good and like I've got a lot of energy. I feel like I've built a lot of muscle and my body composition is definitely a lot more different to what it was at this weight before. So yeah, at the minute, like my weight isn't going up and up and up. Obviously, if I have a day where I eat like out or I go over my calories and stuff, then the next day I'm gonna weigh a little bit more, but I balance it out with my calories over the rest of the week, so it does like eventually stabilize. As for weight, I probably will gain a little bit more weight if I'm trying to build muscle and I'm maintaining the amount of body fat I have. Then my weight will go up, but very, very, very slowly. Would you do another show? See, it's kind of hard because like I do have a plan to do another show next year, and I'm more thinking of the show in November. So I've got like a long time to build muscle and actually change, because like with how expensive shows are and stuff, to compete it's really expensive. And I would want to have enough time to actually progress and look better, look different to what I did last time. At the time, I really, really enjoyed prep. I actually loved it and I enjoyed it. But then after the show, it's like you go to such a high that after the show, it's like you go crash down, if that makes sense, because you just not got that goal to chase for anymore. And I don't feel like you always need to have a really high goal like a show to stay like consistent and be happy, if that makes sense. So I'm just like, since the show, all I've been working on is just to like enjoy lifting weights just for the fact of lifting weights again, enjoy eating healthy and counting my calories and doing all of that for just the whole thing of being healthy and enjoying it, if that makes sense. I haven't got an actual show date planned. I did really enjoy competing, and I do see that, like, I do want to do it again at least one more time, but that's not like my main priority right now. I'm just like, I feel like it's important to love health and fitness without having a show date in mind, without doing it just for, like, for me anyway, for me, that's what's important to me. So yeah, that was a long-winded way of answering that question. We know how we do on this channel, guys. We know I have a long-winded ways of answering every single question, right? Do you miss being that lean? Is being that lean addictive? Do you feel as good now as you did before prepping for the show? I do, in a way, I miss being that lean, in a way. When I look at pictures and stuff, I'm like, oh, I do miss being that lean, in the sense of like, it's just, I don't know why as well. It is just aesthetic, if that makes sense. But yeah, I do have days, not every day, like not every day am I looking in the mirror like, oh, I miss being that lean. But it's a weird one, because like you don't really realise how lean you are until you aren't that lean anymore, and then you look back and you're like, oh yeah, everyone can relate to this. You know when you used to be like, when, I don't know, right, I say everyone, but let me know if you can relate to this, yeah? But you know, like you just say like, oh, I need to lose weight, I'm so fat, blah, 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 right? And then a couple of years go by and you look at a picture of yourself like a few years before, you put on a lot of weight, and then you look back on that picture and you remember not liking the way you looked and wanting to lose weight, but you was a lot slimmer then, and you're like, I wish I was fat like then. You know what I mean? Yeah? So like, it's the same kind of thing. It's like, oh my days, I didn't realise I was that like lean. Like I never thought I was fat or anything. Like when I was show lean, I never thought I was fat, but I just don't, like I knew I was lean as well, and I'd be like, yeah, like I know I was lean, but I don't think like, you're so focused on show day and like stuff like that, like I never actually took a second to be like, oh shit, I'm lean, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. So then I look back on pictures and stuff and I'm like, wow, like I was so lean. It was nice being able to like have a lot of definition and see like my abs, but it is more like the aesthetic thing. I don't miss like how tired I felt, how kind of like moody I kind of felt, and I didn't realise it was that bad until after the show. When you're so focused on the show, it's just everything else doesn't matter, like the way you feel doesn't really matter, and like you don't really think of it, like you're just running on that energy like to get to the show, if that makes sense. And then afterwards you're on such a high, and then it does come crashing a little bit, and then it's like all of the weeks and weeks of like tiredness will just like come at once. Like I remember like a few weeks after the show I was just like lack of energy. It's like a little bit of a down, if that makes sense, like a little bit of a downer, because it's just, you've just coming off of a big high basically. Is being that lean addictive? I can see why it's addictive. It is uncomfortable gaining the body fat back, and so that kind of goes into the thing of like, do you feel as good now as you did before prepping for the show? I mean, I do have days where I feel like, most of the time, like I feel really, really good, like I'm fine, like I'm happy with myself. But I was thinking about this, and if you think of it, like when I was losing the weight, not for a show, but when I was losing the weight from coming from like 269 pounds, when I was 269 pounds and when I went down to 230 pounds, yeah, 230 pounds was still overweight, probably obese still, but I was feeling so good and my best because I hadn't been 230 pounds in a long time. So then when I went down to 200 pounds, I was feeling like good. I remember being like 190 pounds or something, and I was feeling like my best. Like I was like feeling sexy. It's like because I'd never been that size before, so I was feeling good. Whereas like if I went to 190 pounds now, like I would feel unfit, unhealthy, and I probably wouldn't be feeling my best or my sexiest or whatever. I was always like, whilst I was losing weight, I was always like feeling better and better and better. And then obviously you go through prep, and even though I knew that getting to like stage weight was unsustainable and it wasn't healthy, and I was going to gain back the weight, and I did a lot of mental preparation, like preparing myself mentally, and always like trying to keep it very clear to everyone that I was sharing it with, and also to myself, that this weight is unhealthy, it's not sustainable, it's for one goal and one goal only, is to be on stage, but I'm gonna have to regain the weight, and that's like to be healthy and more sustainable and stuff like that. Even though like I prepared myself for that, regaining the weight is so mentally hard, because like you've seen yourself so lean, and now when any bit of like fat gain you gain, if that makes sense, it's like you can almost feel it. Like my skin was like, obviously I've got loose skin, so like my skin was empty by show day, and then when you start like gaining the weight back, it's like the skin gets thicker, and I could feel like the fat, and it's mentally hard to try and convince yourself like you need to gain the fat back, if that makes sense. So like I'm just being like 100% honest with you guys. Like it's not that deep, if that makes sense. Like I've not like been like really low about it, but it is uncomfortable, so I can understand why it can be a bit addictive. And I do have thoughts in my head sometimes, like when I have been gaining weight, and like whilst I was gaining weight, like, oh, maybe you should like cut back on your calories a little bit and lose this little bit of fat, like you're gaining a bit too much weight now. But I know it's like the mental thing of it, so I just speak myself out of it. I'm like, no, like there's no point in keep trying to cut your calories, like it's not going to get me anywhere apart from being in a vicious cycle. And I want to be healthy, and body fat is healthy, it's necessary, obviously not in excess, but you know what I mean, like you can't be that lean and be healthy, and that was never the plan. So yeah, like it's just it's been like a little bit of a mental thing, because you're regaining the weight. So it's like, where I would have been happy at this weight before prepping for the show, I was like the leanest I'd ever been, and the healthiest, the fittest, and I felt really good. Whereas now at the same weight, probably a different body composition, more muscle, probably less body fat than I was at this weight, I'm feeling not as great probably as what I did then, because I'm bigger than my leanest, if that makes sense. It is like a mental, like it's really mentally, it's weird, it's just a mental thing. But I feel like I've been dealing with it really well, because I feel like I'm very level-headed. I don't know if you guys get that. I feel like I can talk to myself and be like, no, I'm feeling so good. And I always just remind myself of how I actually felt being that lean, not really that much energy. I wasn't really fun to be around, because like I would have a short amount of energy like halfway through the day, and then after that like things would just take it out of me, if that makes sense. And I don't want to be like that. Like I want to have fun and be happy and be sociable and be a nice person to be around. So like I always think of things like that and remind myself of like what's more important, and just having abs and being lean, very lean, unhealthily lean, it's not important, is it? So like I always just try to remind myself of what's important. What was the moment you decided to go for it and compete? I think I read in your Insta people were telling you to compete, but you were saying no. Is that true? Did you find it challenging at times to stay motivated after you competed and got back to normal life? Yeah, I was adamant for a very long time that I wasn't going to compete. Basically, there's a few reasons for this, right? First reason being the fact that when I lost weight, I never had that in the plan. Like some people lose weight and they're like, okay, when I've hit my goal weight, I want to compete. Like that's completely fine, but that's not what my plan was. Like I don't think I've really even thought about bikini competitions at all. Like that was not even in the back of my mind at all. So when I lost the weight and I was lifting weights, I didn't lift weights to build muscle to compete. I literally just started to lift weights because I remember feeling like I wanted to tone up. Like I remember being like, I need to tone up, which toning up is building muscle. Like you can't tone up without building muscle. So yeah, but I remember thinking like my arms were really saggy and stuff, and I was like, I want to build some muscle on my arms, or I just want to lift weights and build muscle and get fitter and stronger. And then I started building muscle and finding it really fun in the gym, and like I feel like I found it more fun because I felt like I was building muscle fairly easily. Like when I started lifting weights and stuff, like my arms started changing massively. Like my arms had a massive, like dramatic transformation from going to like my least favorite body part to one of my most favorite body parts. So like seeing myself build muscle and seeing my body change so much just by lifting weights, like I feel like that made me love lifting weights even more. I just fell in love with like bodybuilding in the sense of like changing my bodybuilding muscle, I just started like seeing a lot more on my Instagram, like bikini competitors and all that stuff. But then a lot of people would like say to me, are you competing? You should compete and all that stuff. And I was like, no, I don't want to. First reason why I was saying no is because like it wasn't my goal in the first place, basically. And then the second reason is because I have watched loads of videos online, like Obese to Beast talk about it as well, about how like competing can kind of mess up your relationship with food, can cause like EDs, especially like people that have lost a massive amount of weight, who haven't always had like a healthy relationship with food, if that makes sense, probably shouldn't compete because it can make it worse. And I just remember thinking like, I don't want to jeopardize my weight loss, regain the weight back or whatever after competing just to compete, because that was never my goal. My goal was to lose weight and be healthy. So competing, the risks didn't outweigh the benefits of competing for me, because it wasn't something that I really wanted to do. And I felt like if I did it, it could just make me regain all my weight back or cause an ED, and I just didn't find it worth it. So that's why I was like adamant I wasn't going to compete. So then, and then you're like, why did you compete, Louise? Listen, I'm going to explain. Right? I'll explain myself. Then after like a year, I maintained my weight loss for a year and then got more into lifting weights, even more, building more muscle, and I literally just started to fall in love with like bodybuilding and like watching bikini competitors and like bodybuilders. I just really fascinated by it. But then the only thing stopping me from doing it was obviously the relationship with food, the after effects of doing the show. And then also what else was stopping me was the fact of that I don't have big boobs, I have empty boobs and I have loose skin. So I was like, if I'm gonna compete, I would just embarrass myself. Like really, I felt like I would just like get on a stage and embarrass myself. I'll have no boobs. All these girls that are competing, most of them have got boob jobs. They don't have loose skin, and if they did have loose skin, most people have it removed. Like I didn't really see anyone competing with loose skin, so I kind of thought like I would be last place and I'd probably embarrass myself. So what's the point? I don't know. With time, I just started to want it more and more. I feel like just with maintaining my weight loss for a long time, like by that time, like a year, I trust myself to be able to be in a healthy mindset. And if like I felt like myself going into unhealthy mindset, I would always like pull myself out and not compete. But I just got to a point where I just really believed in myself and my relationship with food and just like everything I've learned and my maintenance, basically, that I just felt like I could do it. And I just started to really, really want to do it. And then, yeah, I just had people saying to me, you should compete, I think you'll love it. And I was like, do you know what, I want to do it. I saw Pure Elite did body transformation and I went to watch that show and I saw people with loose skin competing and they looked amazing, and you could barely see loose skin with the tan and stage lights and everything, and it just really inspired me. I really wanted to do it. Like I don't know what to say. Like over time, I just was getting more and more interested in it and I really wanted to do it. And then I saw that and I just really wanted to do it. I believed in myself, if that makes sense. I was like, I'll be fine. And if I do start to struggle, I know in myself that I value my health over anything and my weight loss, like maintaining my weight loss. And if I felt like I was really struggling, I will pull myself out. Like there will be no competition that will make me risk that. And I was like, do you know what? I know the risks, and as long as I know and I'm being like proactive, then I should be fine. And yeah, that's why I competed. There was no like actual moment. It was like a build up, and then just one time I was like, do you know what, I'm gonna do it. Forget it. Like no more like being scared and stuff like that. If you want something, you go and do it, basically. And yeah, that's why I did it. Did you find it challenging at times to stay motivated after you competed and got back to normal life? Yeah, I did. It wasn't like straight away. Like I was on like a high after the show, and then like a couple of weeks after, as it like all died down, and I was just really hungry, tired, like my body was just tired, and I wasn't, initially going back to the gym, I was a lot stronger because I'd eaten, but you still are on, like when I was like reverse dieting, you're still on low calories, so the energy doesn't stay or like come back really quickly. So like I was feeling like not as strong in the gym again, and it was just kind of dragging. I still went and did it and stuff, but it was just, yeah, it was just not as motivating. Obviously, when you've got a show to go for, when you're not feeling like working out, you know you've got to, and you just have that in your mind, so you can see it, basically. You see yourself on stage and you're like, nope, you're working towards it. Whereas like when it's done, it's a lot harder to get yourself in the gym when you've not got the energy and you're hungry and Yeah. How often did you work directly with your PT coach during prep as compared to now? Did he train you every day in private session daily? So I would do a session with him like the same as what I do now, like once every week. He works in the gym that I train at basically every day. So I will see him every day and we'll talk basically every day. You did such a brilliant job getting yourself into a physical and emotional position to be able to perform and win, but what did you feel least prepared for? Oh, that's a difficult question. I feel like I was pretty prepared. I've mentally prepared myself for post-show. I guess I could say the come down from the high. I don't feel like I really prepared myself for that. Like, I was on such a high after the show, and then like I just had a few weeks where I felt really low, and I wasn't enjoying going to the gym, and like I love going to the gym and training, so that was really hard mentally, and I didn't realise that was going to happen. So I guess that would be what I was least prepared for. When you love going to the gym all the time and then you kind of like, not lose it, because I definitely got it back. Like, I love going to the gym. It was only like a few weeks, but like, yeah, that was kind of hard. But then I'd also say, and something that I'd never thought of, but going day before show was bloody hard. I would say going to get the tan and having to stand there like with everyone who had breast implants, or if they didn't have breast implants, they're like, no one's boobs are like mine. Like, let's be real, like no one's. And my loose skin at the bottom of my belly. I feel like it wasn't really mostly the loose skin, it was mostly like my boobs. I just felt so self-conscious, and where I was already tired and hungry, and I just, like, my body was just aching. Like, it was just, I couldn't sleep. Like, I felt so tired, but I could not sleep. Like, my body just would not let me sleep. It was the most frustrating and draining thing ever. So that, on top of the fact that I felt so self-conscious of my boobs, and I just felt like people were looking at them, but in sympathy, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like people were looking at me like they felt sorry for me, and it just really like made me so upset, and I was not prepared for that. Like, that wasn't even something that crossed my mind. Like, standing on a stage in a bikini, I was like, oh, I'm nervous for that, but like, I didn't think that would be something that really upset me, if that makes sense. I think it was just more because I was emotional as well, because it upset me a lot more than what it should have. Like, it should, normally I don't care, like, that's not something that I would be upset about, but yeah, I was least prepared for that, I would guess. I've heard it said that people continue to compete because they become addicted to the training and prep routine. Is it difficult for you to stay motivated with diet and training if you aren't planning on competing again soon? I understand that, but I love training and I have a routine anyway, regardless of prep. I feel like my prep routine and like my normal routine are not too different, other than the fact that prep was just a lot more extreme and I couldn't have a day off if I wanted to. Do you know what I mean? I would go to the gym and train every day, but I basically do that now. So I still have that routine, whereas that was like a lot more extreme. So I would go and train, and then I would have to go and do my posing after, and then I would have to get my 16,000 steps every single day, like on the dot. Like, I would need to get it. Like, I never went below like my 16,000 steps. Everything had to be very consistent and it was very strict. Whereas like now, I go to the gym, but I don't have to do posing after, which I loved posing and stuff. But when you get to like the last couple of weeks and you don't have that much energy to do posing session after training, I literally just remember like I don't have energy to do it. It was a drag, and like not having to do that after the show was one of the best things, because I just felt like I didn't have it. It was like I was going to the gym and training, but like it almost felt like I didn't have to have one workout. To do one workout or whatever, because like posing was like a workout for me. But yeah, so like in a way, like I can see how other people might say that, but I feel like I still stick to a really good routine, and it helps keep me like motivated, because like they say, don't they, if you're not motivated, be consistent, and consistency will bring back your motivation. And I think that's true, because when I'm not feeling motivated, I stay consistent, and that consistency gives me results, which then motivates me. So yeah. How have you decided what your maintenance weight should be? Not the calories, but the balance of looking good, feeling good, but not having to live your life in constant restriction. Thanks, you look great. Well, there you go. I don't have like a specific number on the scale where I'm like, okay, I want to maintain this. I think it's very important not to have a number on the scale, especially when you've seen the scale go down, like really, really down, and then you're like trying not to, you know what I mean? Like when you see it at the lowest, like you don't really have a good idea of where your weight. I don't know. I didn't really know. I knew I would want to be around pre-prep weight, which I am at. So I don't know. It's a hard one, because sometimes like I'm like, oh, I feel like I've put on a bit too much body fat, but then I don't know whether it's my mind playing tricks on me. And I also like get the feeling of like, oh, I want to go into a calorie deficit again, maybe lose a little bit more fat. But I'm like, I always stop myself and be like, no, because I don't want to be yo-yoing, going up and down, up and down. I want to maintain a body fat that I feel good at. So for me, that is being able to sleep well, right? Sleep really good. I sleep like a baby. I sleep like a baby now. Not feeling hungry all the time. Actually having good fullness and hunger cues, which I do now. So like I can eat food and stop when I'm full. So yeah, like post-show, it's like after a while, it's like after a few weeks, like your body's hunger cues start like coming back properly, and then like you just get really, really hungry. So like I would finish a meal and still be hungry, and it was hard to have like, even if my stomach felt physically full, I could feel it and see it as like, you know, it's full, but like there's still that hunger there, and it's just such a weird feeling. But now I don't have that. Like it's been quite a long time since I don't have that, thankfully. Now I can actually finish a meal, be full, satiated, and wait a few hours before I start to get hungry again, and that's normal. So that's another way that I've decided my weight. Another way I've measured it is by whether I'm progressing in the gym. Am I being able to lift a little bit heavier? Am I getting somewhere? Am I building muscle? Like I'm not plateaued, I'm not stuck, I've got energy to train, I've got enough energy, like I don't feel like getting up and moving is a chore. Like I can just get up and move. I've got energy, I feel good, I feel happy, I'm full. Like not full all the time, but like I'm satiated basically. My hunger and fullness cues are back to normal. I'm sleeping good, and also I feel good, if that makes sense. Like I'll look in the mirror, I feel good. Like I'm building muscle, I'm building that booty again. I'm getting a little bit of boobies back. So I can't complain. And also a massive thing has been for me that I've been able to enjoy the balance. So I could technically maintain a leaner physique right now, but that would mean that I don't get to go out as much for meals. At the minute, I'm really, really enjoying living a very balanced lifestyle. So like most of the time I'm eating like my normal healthy balanced meals, but I also can like nick a chip off of Rashan's plate, or like, do you know what I mean? Like nibble on a couple of chocolate buttons here and there, or go out for meals and order something that I like. It could, most of the time I do order like healthy whole meals, but it's obviously going to be a lot more calories, so like I'm able to go over my calories a little bit more on some days. Like just being very free, if that makes sense. Like when you're in prep, you're so on such a strict thing, but I couldn't do that. So it's nice now to be able to do that, and this body fat I'm at now, I'm able to do that and maintain, if that makes sense. Like I'm not going crazy overeating every day, but I have that balance where I can, and that flexibility, that's the word, flexibility, to be able to do so. And I just feel like that's helped me build up a healthy relationship with food again after the show. That was something that I found really, really important, was to just make sure after the show, post-show, I'm building up that healthy relationship with food. I'm not trying to still be very restrictive like I was in prep, because prep you have to be pretty restrictive, but after, like, to live a healthy balanced lifestyle, you don't need to be overly restrictive. Like there's some things you restrict like yourself in the sense of not like binging and eating crazy amounts of food all at once, but you have to have that flexibility to be able to enjoy nice, fun foods, as they say, in moderation, without feeling any guilt and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a way I've decided to maintain my weight and where I want to maintain. So yeah, if I want to maintain a leaner look, then I just know that I have to be a lot more stricter with my calories, if that makes sense. Like right now, I'm tracking my calories. I'll track my meals and stuff, but I'll have bits of untracked food where I'm taking a couple of crackers out of the cupboard and eating that, and like going over a little bit but not tracking that, if that makes sense. And I just know that if I want to maintain a leaner body, which I might, like, you know what I mean, like I might want to go on a little mini cut or something one day or whatever, then I just know I'd have to be a little bit more strict with my calories. So long-winded way of answering yet again. Would you do it again, and do you miss the routine, goals, strictness of it all? I basically addressed that, and I would do it again. Although I'm saying all these negative things about post-show and how hard it's been and stuff like that, like it was so worth it, and I don't regret it. It's such a weird thing. Like I remember us obviously speaking to Ashley, and she was like, so do you regret doing the show? Like, do you think that you would, if you could go back in time, you would do it again, or you wouldn't do it again? And I was like, I don't regret it at all. Like, I can't explain the feeling of just seeing everything all come together, everything that I worked so hard throughout the prep. And I actually really enjoyed prep. Like, I say it like, mate, I thought someone got shot outside. I literally was waiting to hear a scream. What was that? Like when you hear random bangs like that and it ain't a firework, it's daytime, like what's going on? Anyway, I actually really enjoyed prep. Like I really enjoyed the routine of prep, and like just having that goal and being really focused and dedicated and just pushing myself past where I thought I could ever go, if that makes sense. Like I really enjoyed it. And then like everything that you're like, everything down to like the posing, the like planning the meals, like eating the food, just staying very strict, doing the workouts, and like having that whole routine and just like looking at the bikini, planning the bikini, like everything that goes into show day, basically just all of that hard work, and then just seeing it all come together like piece by piece, like little pieces in a puzzle, and then it all comes together, and then it's just so surreal. Like when you're on that stage, it like almost doesn't feel real, and it's just like, it's such a high that like it was just all worth it. It literally is so worth it. But like I also want to be honest in the fact that post show is like very mentally hard. It doesn't really seem like a lot of people talk much about post show, and I feel like it's because there's a lot of like people feel like they're failing if they're not doing like great all the time, and that's not true, is it? Everyone has their little struggles, and I feel like it's normal post show to have that like low after the high. I think yeah, it just is more about like after post show like being kinder to yourself and just like taking that time to like relax and then get back to yourself and back into the love of fitness and stuff, just for the pure fact of like the love of fitness and going to the gym and stuff like that, rather than just doing it for a show. Will you be competing again at some point? What is your next goal? So obviously I said yeah, like possibly next November. I don't know, not definite yet, but I will eventually. I feel like I definitely will be getting on that stage again. But I don't know, maybe next November, maybe before, but yeah, I don't know exactly when. There's not a date completely set, but we have like a rough guide, a rough plan that we're following at the minute. What is your next goal, physique or performance related? So physique wise, I just want to build more muscle, right? I literally want to look like Popeye's wife. Forgot what her name is now. Someone did comment it down below and I googled it and I saw her and I was like, oh yeah, Popeye's wife. I just want to build more muscle. I want bigger glutes, bigger delts, bigger quads, tighter hamstrings. I actually want to work on my abs as well, because shedding all the fat off there, I didn't really have much like abs or whatever. Obviously abs are made in the kitchen. If you don't, you could have a six-pack underneath your fat, but if you don't lose the fat, you're not going to see it basically. But I want to build a stronger kind of core, if that makes sense, like so that when I do shed down, you can see it a little bit better. So I do want to do that. I want bigger glutes. My glutes have come a long way. They used to look like an ironing board, mate, flat like that. After I lost weight, they sagged. But I want to build bigger glutes and bigger legs, which I have been doing. So yeah, so that's physique wise. Performance wise, I am trying to hit 100 kilograms deadlift, guys. I did, what was it, 95 kilograms? Done 95 kilograms for 10. So on the road to 100 kilograms. That's my performance goal at the minute. That's what I'm focusing on, like basically strength in the gym, chasing numbers in the gym. Rather than chasing numbers on a scale, I'm chasing numbers in the gym. So yeah, that's it guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That's my post-show update. And that's where I'm at right now, basically. I'm just trying to live my best, healthiest life. That's it, basically. I'm trying to get stronger, live healthier, live balanced, enjoy life, because life is worth enjoying. And that's what I like to think as well. I lost weight in the first place so that I could go out, enjoy myself, and live a good quality life. And yes, most of the time I'm going to be eating healthy, balanced foods, but I also want to be able to go out and have fun and enjoy my life. I don't want to have to live a very strict lifestyle every single day, because yeah, life is about like having fun and enjoying yourself as well. But yeah, obviously if I prep again, then prep is different. But as for like just maintaining my weight loss and living a healthy, balanced lifestyle, that's where it is, mate. So yeah, I'll put this back up there now, and comment down below, let me know if you found this useful. If you have any more questions, leave them down below and I'll try and get back to you and answer them. Or if there's quite a lot of questions, then I could do another one, another little Q&A update. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.